violence, like animal cruelty. It's just I don't get it. Me personally, I'm not a vegan. I would love to be a vegan. Honestly, I can't afford it. I live in a country where everything is about meat.
Oh,
Everything.
I'm sorry. It's hard to be surrounded by that kind of culture if you're trying to do something
Yeah.
different, you know.
Besides, it's really expensive. Like I go to the supermarket and there's no like soy milk or something like that. It's extremely expensive.
Oh, that's too
It's,
bad. Yeah, we're definitely aiming mostly at people who can easily go vegan, you know. And we've got easy vegan products like rice, pasta, fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts,
well,
beans, bread.
that's exactly what I'm looking for. Because I mean, giving up on the fact that I can't afford it is just being kind of mind weak, and I'm like looking for a way to make it work.
Yeah, that's
there has
great. So
there has
so
to be a way.
yeah, so hopefully, you know, as more developed nations go more plant-based to where they're selling these products more, they're more affordable, more profitable. So they're, you know, like I saw in Toronto, Canada. I live here in America, but I saw a picture of the cow milk section of the grocery store right next to the plant milk section in the grocery store, and they were
Yeah,
50-50. So like half of the products being sold were vegan, and that's just
well, that's great.
really impressive. Yeah, so I've been vegan for 11 years, and back then, you know, there was like one or two plant milks
My
available,
respect.
but now it's like half the shelves, you know. So it's a lot of progress can be made, and then with international trade, hopefully, you know, and the activists living in other countries, because there are a lot of
Well, that's the
vegans.
thing.
I was just gonna say
That's the
there,
thing.
yeah, there's a
The
lot of
thing
vegans in those
where
other countries
people
that
get
are.
really annoyed. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting you. I'm so sorry. Keep on going.
Well, I was just gonna say real quick that like it's helpful that those other vegans in those countries like South America and stuff are working to make to help people care about animals and the environment and their health and getting more plant-based products on the shelves at those stores. And it's just gonna keep increasing with time.
I wish. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the whole thing that what I was gonna talk about is just what you were saying about having vegan friends, and just I think people get really annoyed by activists because if they understand and they listen to you and what's really going on, they have to take accountability for keep on eating meat, knowing how things work. So people don't really want to know the truth, and they are kind of annoyed that you are like actually telling them, like, dude, what are you doing eating meat? This is what happens. They don't really want to know. So I mean, my vegan friends, I have a couple of them. When I invite them to dinner, I make sure everything is vegan, even the soap I put in my bathroom.
Cool. That's really nice of you. Yeah, they really appreciate that because it's tough. It's tough when you go vegan, like because you're surrounded, like you're saying, in a society that is not a vegan
It's
society. You
everywhere.
know, so there's once you start reading the labels, you start realizing there's like animal products in so many things that you had no
Yeah,
idea.
there's nothing you can use shampoo, soap, like everything. Everything is mainly like animal tested or has makeup. I'm a makeup artist and I can't use a lot of brands because
Yeah, yeah,
they
because
have
they test on animals or they have animal products in them. But
they have bugs for red eyeshadow, for
yeah,
example.
yeah,
Most of them.
exactly, exactly. So yeah, so it's unfortunate that it's a bit of a struggle, but you know, it's things that a lot of times we actually can accomplish. We just have to put our mind to it and think about the victims and realize how much they're suffering and compare that to the amount of inconvenience that we're going through at the time by, you know, buying a different
Absolutely.
product or something like that. You know,
If you guys if you guys could, like, if you have the time and the will and the resources, like pop some in the chat, like some, I don't know, recipes or some whatever, like helps me out with my
yeah.
resources, with everything, that would be highly appreciated and productive.
Okay, cool. So it looks like you have the Veg Curious role, which a moderator will give to people who express like a serious interest in learning more about veganism. And anybody in the audience, if you want the Veg Curious role, just tag a moderator in the chat. You can go up to stage one text, and stage
Yeah.
one text and
It's
just
not
type.
just about talking. It's not just about talking. It's
Yeah,
just doing it.
because what the Veg Curious role does in this server is it just gives you more options in the menu. More channels will
Right.
open up, like hidden channels that'll give you recipe ideas and somebody to answer all your questions and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really helpful. So thank you guys for your
Yeah,
work.
yeah, you're welcome. All right, cool. Do you have any more thoughts or questions?
No, just grateful.
Oh, that's
I'm
cool.
from Uruguay, by the way. So like I'm from South America, so that's why like meat here is like the main thing. Is what we all do in Christmas, asado, like barbecues. So that's changing rapidly, but still, it's just that's what we do as a country. So it's really hard.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, and I hope it gets easier for you.
Yeah, it will. I'll make it easier.
Stoner, come on up, Stoner. Hey, man, you want to talk about the animals, man? Speciesism is like racism and sexism. It's discrimination based on what species somebody's born into. So if we say it's wrong to kill a dog, but fine to kill a pig, that would be speciesism. Because dogs and pigs are equal.
Yo, what's up? Okay, I was wondering what your opinion on the brand Impossible Meat is. Like, if you like it or whatever.
Yeah, there's they got the Impossible Whopper over at Burger King. I think it tastes just the same as far as I recall. I ain't had like no dead animal flesh in my mouth for 11 years, but I've had a lot of people tell me that they had the Impossible Whopper that are not vegan and that they loved it and they couldn't tell the difference. You know, we do blind taste tests on people and they don't know the difference. So, what's your thoughts on it?
I'm vegetarian, so I use it a lot as like a mock meat. I mean, I like it. I mean, I'd say, I mean, I don't remember exactly what meat tastes like, but like, I'd say it probably tastes the same because my parents eat meat and they say it tastes the same, but obviously it's like made from plants. So, I mean, I like it as
Cool.
mock meat because it tastes the same, and it's like, the only thing is when you cook it, you have to add like, well, I'm not vegan yet, but like, for me, I add like butter to it because like, it doesn't have like the natural juices and whatever that's in meat itself.
Okay, well, yeah, like I actually like the Beyond Burgers even more than the Impossible. Beyond is my favorite, probably. Another good brand is Gardein. I don't know if everybody's got access to something like that in their grocery store,
No,
but
I've had them before. I've had their chicken strips.
yeah, Gardein. Ooh, so good. And that brand Morningstar, they have a lot of vegetarian products, but then they started making more vegan products recently. And I think they said they're going to go full vegan, so that's cool. But yeah, they've got like these spicy buffalo wings, like boneless
Yeah, I've had those.
vegan chicken wings, and they're like spicy. Oh, so good. You cook them up in the oven.
Yeah, I love that brand.
Called
Morning
Meatloaf.
Star. Literally, my freezer is full of their brands. That's like my main brand to go to because they have really good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's almost like there's no reason to kill animals at all,
Exactly.
huh? All right, well, let's talk about that butter that you've been putting in your food. What's the deal with that?
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm thinking about going vegan. I've been vegetarian for 2.5 years.
Oh, dang.
So, like, I joined the server because I saw the stage and I wanted to, like, join in and whatever.
Sweet.
And I joined the server and, like, thinking, because I've joined the stage a bunch and I've, like, seen you guys talking, and I'm thinking about going vegan, like, 100%.
Nice. Let's make sure you got the Veg Curious roll, and I think yeah, you got the Veg Curious roll, so that's good. We might even give you the convinced roll. Are you convinced that you should be vegan, like that the animals need your help, and you ain't got no right to cut their little heads off?
Yeah, I'd say.
All right, somebody give this person a convinced roll. Dang it! And all y'all in the audience, take note.
So just to be sure, you are convinced that you should be vegan,
Yeah.
and you're going to replace the butter with a plant-based alternative.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
It's easy too. Like just get margarine. Like check the label. You know, like check the ingredients. But a lot of margarine, unlike butter, it doesn't have any milk in it, and so there's no tortured cows in it. Little babies and their mothers.
Well, actually, Chase, you do want to check though, because a lot of margarine is made with dairy.
Okay. Okay.
Always check the ingredients, right?
Dairy is scary, and Dairy is Scary is just a 5-minute video that has 6 million views, and explains what's going on in the dairy industry to the cows. They take the babies away from the mothers like the day that the babies are born because the babies are going to drink the milk. But the farmer doesn't want the baby to drink the milk, even though the milk is made for the babies, because he wants to steal that milk from that mother and sell it to somebody who wants to buy that instead of oat milk, rice milk, coconut milk, hemp milk. There's almond milk, soy milk. There's so many different delicious vegan milks, and they got vanilla in them. Like, come on, man, vanilla oat milk. Like, that's way better than cow titty juice.
Yeah. Off topic, but I watched Seaspiracy on Netflix, and I had told my dad about it, and he watched it as well.
Nice. Yeah. So she's talking about Seaspiracy. Seaspiracy, like the sea, the ocean, is a really popular documentary on Netflix that's like got a lot of people to stop eating fish because they realize that, oh shit, like when we're catching all these fish, we're also catching a bunch of dolphin and a bunch of turtles, and all these animals are getting dragged up and killed, and fish themselves feel pain and they want to live, and it's kind of like dragging a dog's head underwater while they're screaming and freaking out, just like fish freak out when you take them out of water. They're panicking because they can't breathe. And you wouldn't want it done to you, and we don't need to do it to them, so we gotta cut that shit out. So watch Seaspiracy on Netflix. It was like number one in some countries for a little while in Netflix.
Yeah, and the person who made that one has another one called Cowspiracy. I haven't watched it, but
yeah. So I'll post like the 15-minute version of that. It's like a 2-hour documentary that might be on Netflix called Cowspiracy, like conspiracy but with cow. And so Cowspiracy and then Seaspiracy. Yeah, really excellent documentaries, primarily about the environment, like how fishing is destroying the oceans, because there's so much fish caught every year for food. And then there's fish factory farms where they're, like farmed fish instead of wild caught. And all of this stuff is just destroying our environment. And then Cowspiracy is about how animal agriculture, like cows and pigs and chickens, like land animals, and how that's destroying the environment. So I'll post the 15-minute version of Cowspiracy on YouTube here in stage 1 text. So if you want to learn how veganism is better for the environment, check this out, because animal agriculture is tearing the place up. The USDA reported that it takes 16 pounds of plants to make 1 pound of beef, because the farmer has to feed the cow every day for 18 months to get them up to slaughter weight. So a 16-to-1 ratio of plants to make beef. And then the University of Oxford reported that raising animals takes up 75% of our farmland because we have to grow a bunch of crops to feed a bunch of animals. 70% of the deforestation in the Amazon rainforest is used for raising cattle. National Geographic reported that a vegan diet saves 600 gallons of water per day per person because we have to water the crops that are fed to the animals and give the animals water to drink. And then lastly, the United Nations reported that the greenhouse gases coming from raising cattle is more than the entire transportation sector, which includes all cars, trucks, trains, planes, and ships. But veganism isn't about the environment. Veganism is about animal rights. But it has this awesome bonus of protecting the environment, which we all live in, and which does affect wild animals as well. Stop breeding them into existence for the purpose of cutting their heads off. It's crazy. Bunny, do you have any other thoughts or questions?
No, I do not.
All right, well, talk to us again. We do these stages every day, and when we first open the stage, there's like 150 people. It's crazy. So yeah, come chat with us again, and you can always join the VCs, the voice channels down below us. There looks like there's people talking in there as well, or you can just hang out in the audience.
I have 2 questions, mainly about new veganism.
Okay.
I haven't been vegan for that long. So what kind of offline activism would you encourage to new vegans?
Sure. Different forms of activism would be things like what we're doing right here, which is just educational outreach online. Generally pretty polite and easygoing, but you kind of got to know your stuff, But you even if you're a new vegan and you don't have like 11 years of experience like me, where you've researched all this stuff, you've written speeches about it, things like that, you still have something to offer, which is that you recently transitioned. And that's super cool because you were recently just in the position that the person you're talking to is currently in. And you can say, things like, look, just a few weeks ago, I was eating animals too. And I was scared of this change, but I was like, I got to do this anyways, or whatever your story is, and focus it on the animals as much as possible. And they might find that to be really impressive. And whenever you don't know the answer to a question that they ask, just be honest and say, I don't know the answer to that. Like if it's about vitamin B12 or where do vegans get their protein or some way to handle, a tricky question when somebody's like, well, my God said I can eat meat, and it's like, oh boy, how do I do this? So some questions are easier to answer than others. And the more that you watch videos and have conversations, and like YouTube is your friend, so find a bunch of great vegan YouTubers and get educated is part of activism also. You're growing as an activist every time you watch a video by an eloquent speaker. Like Earthling Ed is another YouTuber that people should follow. So Earthling Ed, Joey Carbstrong, those guys are amazing vegan speakers that do a lot of in-person activism. But so Joey Carbstrong and Earthling Ed, and you can you can do stuff like just post online. That's an impacting way, and try to build your social media presence. So you can post about animal rights and the environment and your health and stuff like that. And you can there's a group called Anonymous for the Voiceless, and they do this thing where they go out in public with their laptop computers and they'll show slaughterhouse videos to people as they're walking by, and then engage in a discussion with them if the person wants to see what's going on the screen and with this little demonstration. But it's really quiet. It's not like screaming in the streets like a big protest. It's just educational outreach, and a lot of people will stop and engage you in conversation, and then you give them a leaflet after you've answered their questions and told them what they're looking at on screen with the animals being raised and killed. And then another form of activism would be like lobbying your politicians, like trying to get them to change laws and stuff. Another form of activism is those disruptive protests that I was talking about, like finding an activist group and you don't have to lead the march, though that's really fun and I recommend it. I've done it many times. The biggest march I ever led was with 1,000 vegans in San Francisco in 2019. There's a video of that on my YouTube also. But yeah, it's just so cool to like be leading chants on this giant megaphone and have like 100 people or 1,000 people behind you cheering the same thing. It's a really empowering feeling, and people take you seriously when you show up in numbers like that. You've got 1,000 vegans marching in the street, and you're like outnumbering the public at that point, and people are paying attention. But then there's other stuff like doing small protests inside of restaurants and grocery stores. Like it's super dramatic, and the videos of that will often go viral. And that's a good way of showing people the severity of the situation and drawing attention to the issue, and empowering people to take collective action. Because the more types of those protests there are, the less crazy we vegans seem, because more people are hearing the message, and we're starting to normalize the fight against animal cruelty instead of what's currently normalized in our society, which is just complacency in the face of brutality. These little animals, little babies and their mothers, and we force them in these cages, and then we cut their little heads off just because we want to keep being selfish and stay in our routines of how we were raised and what all of our friends and family are doing, what the TV's telling us to do, and what all the restaurants and grocery stores are acting like is normal. And it's just something that we never really thought much about. Maybe we haven't seen the slaughterhouse videos yet. I remember before I went vegan, I didn't know anything like about how bad this was, and no vegans had really preached at me, and I wish they had, so that I would have got educated sooner and realized how serious this is. And if you use a little perspective, to put yourself in the victim's position, like you'd understand immediately what a moral emergency this is, like how drastic of a situation this is for those who are being brutalized. Like imagine, like think about it for a second, and go watch a slaughterhouse video. It's crazy. and they need our help,
Mhm.
and they did nothing to deserve this. So I can't sit by and contribute to it. That's for sure. But I also like can't sit by and let other people do it either, because like I said, those animals need our help, and so we're standing up.
Yeah. I think I have one more question.
Okay, go for it.
So I've been hearing a lot about zero waste lifestyles, and I was wondering if you would encourage other people to participate in them.
In what? I'm sorry.
Zero waste lifestyles. So
Oh
you don't
yeah,
produce waste, you don't use packaging, stuff like that.
yeah. Zero waste is really good. One thing I wanted to say before I go into zero waste is
Mhm.
and minimalism. I forgot to mention another important form of activism is bearing witness to animals who are like being transported on the slaughter truck from the farm to the slaughterhouse. So they're about to be killed. And what activists will do is stand in front of the truck for like 2 minutes to stop the truck right before it goes in the slaughterhouse. And during that time, we'll film the animals and give them water like to pigs right before they're killed. And they're really scared of people. You can see like because they've been brutalized, and but sometimes they'll let you pet them and things like this, and we just give them a little bit of love and show that video online, and that goes viral also, and tells the story of these victims right before they were killed inside of gas chambers is a very common way of killing pigs. So
Mhm.
and I encourage people to like type in on YouTube pigs in a gas chamber, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But then another form of activism is actually going on to farms and slaughterhouses. Some activists will do this, and they know that they're like breaking the law in the process, but they're willing to take on that risk. And some of them are facing heavy counts of trespassing and stealing animals and stuff like this. But they then take those, they rescue the animals, as many as they can, which is usually just a few. But they'll rescue the animals, take them to a vet, and then take them to an animal sanctuary where they get to live their lives happy, safe, and free.
Mhm.
And then if they get caught, because the activists will like publicly show their faces in the videos of these animal rescues, where animals are being like tortured in a factory farm, and they sneak on there and rescue the animal. But then they'll publicize this. It's called open rescue, and open rescue is is challenging the farm owner to take you to court, to press charges against you, to get the cops involved, and to hire lawyers because they want to go to jail. The activists want to go to jail, like they're because it'll get more media attention. You know, like think about the headline of the news article, like extreme vegan activists arrested for trespassing in a slaughterhouse, stuff like this, right? Or they'll chain themselves up to the slaughterhouse so that it shuts it down for the day, and then they'll get arrested, and and they want the publicity of a big court case because more articles will get written about it, which just gets more of the public talking about the issue. Because usually we don't talk much about this issue, and it's so normalized. Violence against animals is so normalized that we don't really consider it an issue. We don't really consider the animals as victims, you know. So that's another form of activism. There's a lot of different things we could do. You could do cooking shows, you know. If all that intense, like going to jail kind of activism is too much for you, I understand. I don't do well in jail either. I've been to jail for the animals, and it's pretty rough. But some people are able to handle it, and it's just impressive when they do that, make that sacrifice for the movement, for the animals. But you can just run a cooking show if you think you're really good at cooking. People need to know how to eat vegan food and what it actually is. Because I've literally had people say like, "You're vegan, so what? You just eat like lettuce?" And I'm like, "Dude, like we got rice, pasta, fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts, beans, bread, vegan burgers, vegan sausage, vegan chicken, vegan pizza, vegan ice cream. Come on, get with the times, you know." So anyway, but as far as zero waste, sorry, I went on a tangent there, but zero
It's okay.
waste and minimalism, yeah, I think is a good thing to do, or at least to aim for. So I wouldn't consider myself zero waste, but I'm definitely a minimalist, and so I don't buy hardly anything because I don't really care about like luxury items and stuff. You know, I've got a car. It's a 2001, but it runs good. I have a computer and a phone because you kind of need those to exist in our society, and to be a good activist you need to have these kinds of things. But for the most part, I'm not out like buying shiny necklaces or anything like that, you know, or going on long vacations in the Caribbean or something. So uh, yeah, so I do recommend that everybody try to be a minimalist because it's better for the environment for one thing, and just to live simply and to remember that there's a lot of people like homeless people. I've been homeless too, and so I know what it's like to really struggle. And I just don't want to spend. I don't want to live if I even had money, which I don't. But if I had a bunch of money, I wouldn't want to spend it on a bunch of luxury items that I don't need when I could enjoy my life and still give all that money to charity, so or invest it in a business so that I could continually give to charity. So the point is just like, yeah, we should care about humans also, and we should care about the environment in more ways than just eating a plant-based diet. Like, do your job to recycle and promote environmental causes and things like that.
For sure. Thank you so much.
Okay, cool. You're welcome. Talk to us again. We do these stages every day, and we've got these voice channels below where you can chat with other people right now. But yeah, good talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Or if I have any advice that I can get to tell friends and family that I want to go vegan. I live with my dad. Yes, I'm 16.
If your parents will not buy you vegan food, then we're not trying to like judge you and make you feel like a bad person if you have to eat, if you have no access to plant foods. But hopefully you can get your parents to start cooking you vegan food, or you'll have to start cooking for yourself maybe, which is totally worth it for saving the animals. They need us to learn how to cook basically, and it's not that hard. So you can, and a lot of it's just throw it in the microwave, because we got all that stuff too. But yeah, so watch some videos with your parents. Explain to them that a vegan diet is healthy so long as you do it right, which is not hard to do. And we can provide you with resources like we'll give you the Veg Curious role. Hopefully, a moderator is listening and can give you the Veg Curious role, and that will give you access to vegan recipes and like people you can reach out at any time to answer any questions you have or give you suggestions about a specific situation. So the Veg Curious role, anybody can do that. Just ping a moderator and ask them to give you the Veg Curious role if you're interested in getting more resources for veganism. And the idea is show the statistics to your parents to make sure that they know that a vegan diet is healthy. So I'll post right now in stage 1 text something that clearly shows, that like science behind a plant-based diet being healthy. And then you can show them stuff like the statistics about how animal agriculture is destroying our planet and how a vegan diet is like way better for the environment. And then show them a video of some happy animals. I'll post a video of mine called Happy Animals on my YouTube that shows just cows and pigs and chickens like jumping around in a field, like playing with a ball or playing with their friends, running around, enjoying the day, doing tricks, so that it helps them make it's a polite, like fun way to cute way to make your parents hopefully make the connection to realizing that these animals are just like little kids. They play like little kids. They don't mean us any harm. They're totally gentle, stuff like that, and help them realize that they're very similar to our dogs and cats. And then the other thing would be to try to show them slaughterhouse videos. My parents won't watch them, even though they eat animals, which I think is totally ridiculous. Like, Gary Yourofsky said, if it's not good enough for your eyes, why is it good enough for your stomach, right? So it pains us to watch slaughterhouse videos, but we have no problem putting it in our body, eating it, because we're disconnected from it. When we buy these products and when we sit down to eat, we don't see slaughterhouse videos. So we live in denial, and it's cognitive dissonance, and so we try to shut out one part of reality. But that's not good for the victims who we're hurting, and it's not good for ourselves to like ignore a part of reality that we could just as easily change, which would make ourselves and the world a better place. And hopefully they'll come around eventually. And if they don't, at least you're doing the right thing. And once you leave that house, then you can live your life however you want to, like by buying whatever food products you want. And in the meantime, just do the best you can, even if you can't be perfect. But push yourself and your parents to evolve and to do what you can to make this atrocity stop. Or maybe you could get a job. I don't know if you're a student right now, but maybe you could get a job and buy your own food or try to get on food stamps. I don't think that would be in your situation, but since you live with your parents, but just tell your parents, just buy me fucking fruits and vegetables and rice and pasta and seeds, nuts, beans, bread. Like, there you go. That's super cheap. We also got vegan burgers, vegan chicken, vegan sausage, vegan ice cream, all that stuff. Okay, so now they're typing to me at Procrastination is saying, I've mentioned this to my father already. He knows the benefits, but is more about the fact that vegans are just less about health benefits than they are the poor little animals. So your dad understands that it's healthy to be vegan. He just thinks that vegans are stupid for caring about animals. Show him different videos if he's willing to sit down with you and watch some videos either about slaughterhouses or less hard to watch, less gore, but stuff about like uh, videos of vegan activists talking with the public. So again, we'd be talking about videos by Earthling Ed or videos by Joey Carbstrong. These are great vegan activists who are really eloquent with their words and know how to explain speciesism, this discrimination against animals, and question people on why they think it's okay to eat animals. And and hopefully some of these good arguments that these vegan activists will make will do the job for you, so that if you're new to this or anything like that, that your dad would be more convinced by somebody who's studied this for a long time, like Joey Carbstrong or Earthling Ed, and they'll put it in a really eloquent way. And show several of those videos to your dad. Maybe not all at the same time. Maybe be patient with your dad and like try one video every few days or something like that. Whatever your dad can handle, but give him time to process it all in between times. Okay, so now they texted me saying, yes, have links for the environmental benefits and videos about the animals. What's the difference between a dog and a pig? Like, that means we should have legal rights to protect dogs, but we can stab pigs in the throat. Like, what? These dogs and pigs are like basically the same animal, so don't give me any nonsense about anything else, really. Like, if you think it's wrong to kill dogs for food when we don't need to, just because we like the taste of a dead dog, does that give you the right? You think we should make it legal to just shoot dogs? And if so, well, then you're not my target audience. Like, if you're down with killing dogs just to make dog bacon when you could like eat anything else, like vegan bacon, or just any other vegan food, if you're down to shoot dogs, then do your thing. Like, we're luckily it's already against the law to shoot dogs, so we're already beating you. Most people who eat animals are not down with shooting dogs. So and they're making the connection. Most of those people are making the connection. That's why they're going vegan in droves. Is that there's no legitimate difference between a dog and a pig. They both want to live. They feel pleasure and pain. They enjoy their lives. Their lives matter to them, and we have no right or need to do this. And it's called speciesism. It's just like racism or sexism. You're discriminating against somebody just because they're in a different body than you, or a different body than your dog, which you like. But there's no legitimate moral difference between these beings. So that's speciesism. We're trying to be anti-speciesist. Maybe your dad will respond better to these like deep philosophical arguments, and um, yeah, species membership is not a good justification for causing needless harm to sentient animals when they aren't trying to hurt you or anything, you know.
We came from a background like we eat a lot of meat, and like it's mostly meat and rice, and so it's hard to get with family that don't eat vegan food. They don't eat a lot of vegetables. They don't use this stuff a lot. They usually eat like traditional food. Like, they use the head, they use the tongue, they use the stomach, kidneys, everything. Like, literally. And they make a soup of it. They add rice. They add beans with it and stuff like that, and seasoning and stuff. But anyways, I was like talking the last time. I was like, I need to like get my parents as well, like, to understand me and stuff. And actually, my mom was super supportive of it. She was like, yeah, it's better for your health and stuff.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, it's better for my health, but like I'm not doing it only for my health, you know? Like I'm doing it for animals. After I saw the slaughtering footage and everything, I feel like so disgusted inside out. I was like, wait, like with the meat here, like why, like the killing, the torturing of the animals in this slaughterhouse is unacceptable and it's unbelievable. They treat animals this way, and it's just so heartless, you know. I seen the footage. They put the needle and like the knife in their neck and like stuff like that. Sometimes the way they cut the head is disgusting and they're so torturing it. But anyways, I was saying that she buy it from the supermarket, and there's stores that are for our indigenous like people from Asia. So they sell these stuff, you know. They sell the heads and stuff. When I seen it, I feel I cannot eat it. Honestly, like I only tried it a couple times, and I just couldn't eat these stuff. I was like, this is no matter what is traditional, I cannot force myself to eat these stuff, and it's there's more healthier options.
Cool. So Mimi, I was gonna say real quick, I'm posting something, an article in Stage 1 text for you. And this is 15 women of color who are vegan. So this might be something worth showing to your family that shows that different perspectives on this, and that there's a lot of different types of vegan out there. A lot of different people trying to make the world better for humans and for animals. And so that's just something you might want to look into.
Yeah, absolutely.